they were going to do some like mega swap for Kalist. It was like Romain was
Yeah.
going, Romain's grandma was going, Hans Sammer,
Yeah.
like they were trading everyone. Um,
Yeah.
how much did you know about that going on? Because I know that you found out pretty much an hour before it went live on cheap esports and all this kind of stuff, and I know that was annoying for you. But during the Tournament of Worlds, was that something in the back of your mind? Was it something you actively knew was going to be occurring?
Um. Well, I will start off with the first sentence where I said I left, didn't leave, got kicked. Compared to 2021, where I did leave, because a lot of people always say like, "Oh yeah, this guy got kicked from G2 twice," but the first in 2021, I didn't want to renew my contract, so they didn't want to let the contract run out, so then they found someone else. But this time, I got kicked, and if I knew about it, not necessarily, since I didn't see the specific like rumors anywhere. Uh, I knew for Yike that there was like rumors going around about him getting replaced, but for me, it was mostly just from, I guess, reading how people from the staff would talk to me, I guess, because when you have someone in the team that you don't have to deal with next year and you know they're out, you kind of don't want to talk to them or like fix their shit in like reviews. You kind of see it like whatever, he's gonna be gone next year anyway. So I could kind of feel that already, like around summer maybe, but especially at Worlds, where yeah, they just didn't really want to fix any of at least my issues, I guess. They kind of CB8. So yeah, I could kind of see it, but yeah, I didn't really know for a fact that it was gonna happen. Um, so yeah, I don't
And
think it
what?
would. I don't think it affected my performance though. Like it was kind of whatever.
Yeah, you played pretty well. You played a pretty decent Worlds
Eh,
2024.
I wouldn't say that either, but yeah, I can't put it on that, for example. Like I think I had okay games. I mean, I remember I still had some cringe moments, but overall, yeah, it was not a great tournament for me, at least from what I think I'm capable of. But I wouldn't wanna, or I don't think I can put it on like the fact that I
It's
knew I
okay,
was
mate.
gonna
No
get
one
replaced or
else,
anything.
no one else played particularly well. So,
Yeah, I guess.
what were those problems that you're talking about here? Because you're talking about they CBA to fix your issues because it's like you're going next year, and obviously that feels like there's issues that are ramping from 2023 onwards. What were your
Yeah.
sort of main issues back and forth with coaching staff? Problems like how were they diagnosing your problems in the team? How do you respond to those? What are the reality of those from your perspective? Talk to me a little bit about those.
I mean, I guess a lot of the discussions that we usually had was with, I guess, which champions I wanted to play or which champions I didn't think were good, because yeah, I like to play a bit more champions than just like the normal Rail Nautilus every game, and it kind of felt like I was kind of just put on these champions, and then there was not really any discussion about it about playing like other things. I mean, I think in the end against BLG, I got to play a Terra game, which was pretty good Terra game,
That was a hype. I
but
like
uh,
that.
but it was kind of, I guess, hard to convince people to get there. But then also just like in reviews, there would not really be any points for me about what I could have done better, or like in the games, like if it would just be like where I'm on the map, or just if I'm calling missing for my mid laner and shit like this, or just like any kind of like, or if I'm not talking during the game. Usually throughout the other years, it would always be mentioned if someone is like not contributing to the game or like talking, but at Worlds it was kind of just like skipped or like glossed over, like whatever, you know. No one would like kick you in the ass and be like, yo, what up, you know, just keep like show up, fucking play the game or something. I think yeah, I think only Duff was kind of giving me like individual points about what I'm doing and asking me questions, but that was kind of it, yeah. Because I guess he also didn't know about that I'm Maori. But yeah,
Oh,
I think a lot of things were mostly just like if I was not in a good mood, or like yeah, if I didn't talk during scrims and stuff, I didn't feel like anyone from the staff would care much. They were just kind of just like, yeah, whatever, fuck this guy. Because most of the time throughout the year or before as well, people would usually come talk to you if you're not talking or you're like visibly in like a bad mood or something. Um, so yeah,
that's
that was
quite
kind of
that's quite difficult. Sorry, just give me a second. That's quite difficult. It's quite difficult for me to hear, really, because you're someone that kind of you talked about in the course of this interview, and just from speaking to you, that you kind of, despite not actively looking for it, sometimes you do need quite a lot. And I hope that you don't. So I'm finding this quite difficult. I'm getting kind of emotional as well. You're someone that I feel like kind of you wouldn't ever like. I hope you don't find it patronizing me saying, but you do need like love. Like you do need to like feel appreciation and stuff like this, and you would never go out your way to ask for it. So it's quite difficult to hear that potentially you weren't really getting that in 2024. Um, I mean, it's an obvious question, but I kind of wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about your feelings. I know it makes you deeply uncomfortable to do so, but I think it would be remiss of me to not at least ask you to, because I think it's so important. Because wow, that's quite a difficult thing to hear, that that's what you went through. How was that for you? Because I can imagine it would have been quite isolating.
Yeah, it kind of was, yeah. So yeah, I don't know how much. I mean, I don't know what I can say about it, but it was not a very fun Worlds experience, I guess. I was kind of just playing the game, and then I would eat some food, and then I would go to sleep, and then just repeat it. I mean, I think we also had a call at some point, no, didn't we? Around that time during Worlds.
Me and you, yeah.
Yeah, because at least you were there to check up on me every now and again, and I think I talked to my agent as well once. But that was about it. I feel like. I mean, I had one talk with BB as well. But yeah, other than that, it was uh yeah, just kind of just playing and seeing how it goes. Like it didn't really feel like we were actually at Worlds trying to win this shit. We were kind of just like, yeah, it kind of felt like people just wanted to get it over with. So I felt like it was a pretty big waste considering I think we were very good at the time. Then we could have probably won it. So yeah.
That's quite an interesting contrast that you feel like people were just trying to get it over with in comparison to what you're saying about it being like the peak and you guys could have gone the furthest you could. Where does that disconnect come from? Because it feels like on the one hand you're saying you guys are really fucking good, and on the other hand it was, yeah, like you're saying, get it over with.
I mean, I guess it's mostly just like attitude-wise, I guess how people approach like scrims or reviews. Like a lot of the times, it was kind of like silent in scrims. I think BB was probably the only one who was consistently talking a lot, and that's kind of just what he does. He's just like very like he's a good leader, I guess, trying to make sure everyone participates in the game. But yeah, I guess reviews and stuff, it was kind of just like lackluster, I guess, when scrims end. I guess. I mean, we did sometimes play some games together, like between players, but other than that, everyone was kind of just go to their rooms and then just go next day. I mean, I think it was also part of the issue was that we were still in Europe, so it didn't actually feel like we were at Worlds. Like our first bootcamp was also in the office, like when we were practicing for Worlds. So that already felt like we're just another regular season game. And then we went to the hotel, I guess, in Berlin. It felt a bit different, and like the first few 2 days were like pretty good. Everyone was like a lot of high energy, but then after that, it was back to being just like a bit monotone, like low energy vibes type thing compared to like the other Worlds in 2023. And there was just like, yeah, a lot of discussions where everything would just get vetoed, and then we couldn't really do anything. Like a lot of the times when things are going kind of bad is when you can't do anything. Like people don't look for solutions; they just look for problems. I was like, oh, we can't do anything because this with this, we can't do this because whatever. Instead of thinking of what we can actually do to make it work. So yeah, I guess that was kind of the thing. But I think in the games we usually played decently well. So yeah.
Where do you think that T2 roster in 2024 maxes out? You thought you were a top four team in the world, so presumably
Yeah,
semi-finals, with an outside chance to make it to finals, depending on who you drew. Who do you think you
I
could
think
have
so.
beat? Who do you think
I
you could
think
have beaten on a good day in that tournament?
I think on a good day, I think we win the whole thing. Like I think even T1 was beatable. I think BLG was quite good as well. But yeah, I think those two were the main. I mean, they made finals, right? And we played both of them in groups. But I think we could have won against them both, like even in groups and throughout the whole tournament on a good day. And if we could, like, I guess, if we were able to do whatever we want, or like if you look for more solutions, I guess, for stuff in the games, like for example, lane swaps, we weren't lane swapping at all because coaching staff kind of thought it was not a winning strategy. So we're kind of just not doing it.
And presumably,
Where every other
you
team in
thought
the world was.
you thought it was a winning strategy.
Yeah, I mean, we had like a few scrims where we were getting stumped by NA teams and they were just lane swapping on us perma. And then we had like 1 or 2 days when we were doing it, like 'cause they were playing in houses at the time, and then we just played 5-man in houses with our team, and then we were trying to just do lane swaps and actually learn them because we were kind of new, I guess, to it. I mean, we did lane swap, I think MSI or whatever, but this one was a bit of a newer version because like Team Liquid was doing a lot of different variations, so we wanted to see how it is and learn those. But yeah, that kind of, then we tried it, and then I think that was the first time where everyone was like actually very excited to play the game and talk about the game and look for solutions and what we can do better or like how we should play the swaps. So I think that one day I felt like I actually had like a lot of fun playing the game and scrimming, even though it was just like it wasn't scrims, it was just like in houses. But then we tried that the next day in scrims, and then out of the lane swap we didn't really had like a big gold lead, so we just summarized or concluded that it was not a winning strategy. So then we just were not swapping anymore from that point onwards. And yeah, that was kind of it.
And how did that kind of, because we're talking about this kind of isolation you were feeling just because of relationship with the coaching staff during that tournament and summer onwards. How did that affect your relationship with some of your teammates? Because I know that you were having some arguments with some teammates even in some of the games, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there was like, I guess one comment at some point from Caps that was like a little bit more, not sure passive aggressive, it was kind of aggressive, Loki. But after that, he just came and apologized and everything, so
What
I didn't really mind it as much.
if you don't mind, say what actually went down, or
I think it was basically just like we were playing the T1 game, and I think in the game I was like kept asking if we can like go for a backdoor or something, and then Caps was like, "That's not how it fucking works," or something like this. When I was like asking like, "Oh, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we like do it for backdoor? Can we tip it up? Blah blah blah." And then he was like, "Stop talking about it. We can't do it. It's not how it works." And then
and
afterwards
obviously
he came to
you're
apologize.
laughing about it, and obviously you're saying you apologize, but like you're laughing about it now, but from what I can, when I remember you told me about that at the time, I remember it was a thing of like you like there's like less trust there, maybe.
Yeah, like I mean for sure like it hasn't happened to me before. Like whenever I played with Caps, I guess for him to have a comment like this, usually he would be able to either look for solutions or word it better, or like wouldn't even say the kind of comments. But I feel like the stress was also kind of getting to him because like the whole world run was like very low energy and just like a lot of stress and just like it didn't like the vibes were not great. I felt like so that's why it felt a bit weird, and that's why also the stress got to us during this high pressure game. It was like 50 minutes, like we just get ace or something because I think he got caught at that moment at Dragon, if I remember. And then yeah, so yeah, that kind of happened, but yeah, at least I didn't mind as much because he came after the game because he reflected on it and we talked about it. So yeah,
Yeah, but talk to me about kind of because to play devil's advocate again, because I've been speaking primarily as your friend throughout this. Is like you're talking about a degree of coaching staff losing trust in you, potentially teammates losing trust in you. There was like a big thing in 2024. I remember watching you, less in 2023, but in 2024 definitely, where it's like I watched you just like in the fuck out of some lanes, like and shit like this. Just like literally, like I remember you like playing like was it Rail against like Fnatic maybe, just like died like twice in the first like four,
Nautilus against Leona, yeah.
yeah, first like
Nautilus
four
cast
minutes of the
against
game,
Leona Ezreal.
and it felt like
Yeah,
that was
that
consistently
definitely.
happening. And I wanted to give you a chance, like if that's happening, that's obviously going to lead to a lack of trust. But is it the case that that's leading to a lack of trust and it's a perpetuating cycle, or is the lack of trust causing that performance? Because like you've always been a little bit of an inter, not quite as much as
Yeah,
Hillisang, but like it definitely felt like it was happening a lot more. So like
I mean,
a
I
critic would
think
say,
it
well, of course
happening.
your teammates
Yeah,
don't trust you. You're a dirty inter. But then like, what's your take on that?
yeah. I mean, I think that one, the level one, was a bit crazy. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it happened consistently after that. I think it happened those 2 games back to back. In terms, if you could take consistency of 2 games, then it was consistent. Yeah, but I think after that, it didn't really happen much because I had it more in the back of my mind that it can't let it happen again. So I don't think it happened again. I don't, as I would have remembered, but it's like not that early. Um, and also in those lanes, I feel like the first time I died, I felt like it was kind of winnable, but we played it bad. And the second time, I was sure we were gonna win it if Kaisa would like. I think he had fleet at the time, but I thought he had PTA or something. or like a rune that is not.
I feel like you're just
complete, basically.
analyzing the lanes. I don't need you to like apologize for it. It's more just like
Okay, basically,
yeah,
yeah, that was mostly for the lane.
yeah.
I think afterwards there was probably some ints happening, but I don't think I was getting caught as often as as I was in my previous years at least. I think we did have some discussions in reviews though, where like I'm stepping up to like get info, and then we were discussing if it's worth the risk because I can get caught. So maybe those moments gave like, I guess, the lack of trust where you don't know if what your teammate is doing is like actually makes sense, or if he's inting and enemy teams are not just, if they're not just punishing it, because we had a lot of those talks, I guess. But yeah, I'm not really sure. I think in terms of gameplay, I think it was not. I think it was not like worse than I had the years before that. I feel like in 2024, I had some decent games. Like I think I was a lot more consistent than the years before that. I guess like 21, 22. I think those are way worse. 2020 probably as well. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure.